Okay, so we got all this stitched in. We got a little bit of fiberglass, short strand over these areas. This door, like I was telling you, it was in really rough shape, and we wound up using long strand fiberglass in here. I got a lot more shaping to do, but pour 15, encapsulate the stuff we couldn't get to. Fiberglass that. Let's see about underneath. You see there, all the spot welds have been knocked down. The interior, that's all seam seal. That's the old inner rockers that I sealed it up. We're gonna have spots down here that moisture can accumulate and leave. We got that cut out. This is for the Nerf bar assembly that we're gonna put on. This is pretty much it. The other side looks very similar. I haven't got all the seam seal up on it yet, but that's the gist of what we've got going on. Doing some patchwork out of fiberglass. It works. It functions. Again, like I said, we're here for function over form. You pack the fiberglass up in there. You put some tape or masking paper over it, and you grind it down to the contour you need. It's not pretty, but once I'm done, it'll be adequate for the needs of this vehicle, for the life of the vehicle. There's that door again. This one, it wasn't as bad, but the bottom flange was pretty rough, so we went ahead and got some long strand, short strand mix actually. I use the two in conjunction occasionally for purposes that long strand is gooey, it just falls out. You've really got to pack it in there, tape it up, whatever. You get where you've got a decent foundation, you can mix the two. Probably a little more short strand and then filler. Any deep voids is going to get at least short strand. You can't just glob filler in there, expect it to stay. It'll fall out the first cold day. It just pops like an ice tray. That's where we're at right now. I will show you the back side of this door. We started shaping it back into contour. As you can see, again, from here, this whole section, all the way to right about here was completely gone. That is all fiberglass built. The most desired method, no, but it'll work. It'll keep time frames, budgets, everything like that in hand and appropriate. This guy will be very happy with his truck when we're done. Okay, we had the short strand down. We're now into the filler. We got a few detail areas we're going to have to deal with accordingly. That door, or it was gone. Miraculously, we have a door again. We'll go ahead and look at this side. Ugh. That's just the rough end. We got much more to do, but there's the front door on the passenger side. That whole thing was rotted out. As we go around this, obviously we got to detail out the rockers, get those up where we can primer them, seal them, all that, and paint them. The door bottoms. We've got a little more pour 15 to deal with underneath here. See that? We didn't hit that. Cab frame. It's compromised, but it's not horrible. So we're just going to seal it with pour 15. Here we are on the driver's side of things. This side is far less
an issue in a lot of ways on the other side. This actually had huge holes in the door. Not near as bad as the rear passenger side door where it was just missing. But and then this one's not bad. Let's see if I can get a light on this. Will that help us? There we go. See, it's not really bad. It's just scaled up. So we're gonna knock that scale off, do a little tap on it, a little bit of filler. We're gonna be ready to go. Man, yeah, I mean we're in the closing stretch. I get the body work rough in here done where I'm ready to start shooting sealer and such. We'll clean the whole truck up, out and off, all the dust. And we get that cleaned up. We've got to do the front fenders. They're new, but you've always got dings and dents and shit like that. So we're gonna deal with that on the fenders. Very, very minor issue. Here, I guess this afternoon, I'm actually gonna go up and get the paint for this from my distributor. I don't get anything off of my suppliers, clearly, but I hear everybody boasting the tenets and virtues of PPG, and I got nothing wrong with PPG. I think it shoots great. I think it lays down great. My primary products are the BASF line. Diamant is the paint, which is one step off from Glassroot. You see Glassroot on all of your European models. So this is where we're at. We're gonna have a little bit more trimming on the metal work we did when we put the fenders back together and the rear of the little cab pillar plastic mount things back together. Saving all the sealing and all that underneath past the seam sealer. We'll go ahead and finish up the seam sealer underneath. We got this side to do, the other side I showed you. But as far as the sealer and the undercoating, we're going to wait until all the body work's done and finalized. Perhaps even after I've got the painting done. It just depends on how things lay out for me. Man, I'm in at this point. I'm going to deal with the fenders and the dings in those. Get all of our decals and everything stripped off the old fenders. Check my paint, see what kind of blend I've got to do. Sometimes you get dead on. All you got to do is color sand it out and buff it, and it blends right into the existing truck. If you remember the last time we were looking at this, I started roughing in the body work. We are at that point. Nice, smooth. I got it blocked down to 180. I'm going to go ahead and hit it with etch primer. You can't really tell all the body work we've done because everything's so many different colors. I just want to show you this one little area before I get done with the rest of it. This is not a filler primer. I'll have to go over it with filler primer. That's fine. Exactly what I wanted for this. Everything was down in metal and body work. It's all one color. I think there's going to be a little bit of glazing to do at the end of all this, but there you go. It looks like an original door panel again. That's the side that was missing. A big old chunk of it was missing out, and now we're ready to do the filler primer. Do some high build, stack that up on there, get it blocked out again. Any little bit of polyester glaze we need to throw on there, and it's ready for paint. Alright, well, here we are. We're finalizing out a few areas of the rough in before I put the etch primer down. I'm going to go ahead and shoot the 2K. There's that area. That was one of the roughest fit areas. We'll smooth that out and make it pretty again. I showed you the back of this door. I got everything wrapped up. We're going to start shooting product. I can deal with dust, clean that up, detail it out, that's fine. I don't like having all my shit wrapped up and then moving from primer to paint, so I'll either wrap it up, unwrap it after I primered it and knocked everything down, and rewrap it again for paint. You don't want that dust that's tucked up underneath all this shit in your final top coats. That'll fuck up the paint job quicker than anything else. Any contaminants you can bring in from the outside. That we sealed yesterday. I got some work back there to play with. This internal door panel there. Rocker panel is pretty much ready to go. This door panel here. We did go ahead and get this brushed in with Pour 15 across that beam. It's compromised, but it's not gone. So we goobered it up really good with Pour 15 and encapsulate all that rust. Make it stop. Yeah. The owner actually visiting us and helping us out today. He went ahead and scuffed those down with 600 grit. There's some deep gouges here and there. I want to do some body work on them before I paint them. Those are the front fender flares. There's no sense on putting new front fenders on if we're going to leave these looking all a mess. Yeah, it wouldn't shake out too well. But that's where we're at. Using etch primer here. Good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get all this body work and bare metal covered. Alright, you're going to see on here, I'm not covering all this 100% first pass. It's still transparent, you can see through it. We'll build that up. And really we just need to just cover it. We're going to use high build on top of this. It doesn't take long for this rattle can etch primer to flash out. Once you work your way from one end back, it's pretty much ready to go. The big idea here is anything that's exposed metal, it needs sealed in some way. Self-etch or etch primer, or a epoxy sealer. Those are really the only two routes to go. We're going the etch primer on this one. If you had larger areas to deal with, I would go ahead and mix up a batch of sealer. Sometimes I don't have a can of etch primer hanging out, and I'll use the sealer also. Something I've tried keeping on hand here as of late. Smaller areas, this works marvelously for, and I can keep moving rather quickly. We're going to find pinholes and irregularities when we do the high build primer. We're going to use a little bit of polyester filler in there and bring out those other irregularities and get them dressed accordingly. Right now my big goal is to get all the exposed metal hitting etch. It's got a chemical tooth and it'll seal us up so we don't have corrosion issues again. It appears the first time this had been gone through, they just used a Walmart brand rattle can primer. You might have said sealer on the bottle, but it's nothing like a sealer. There we go. Now you can see what's going on. Anyhow, it appears like they used a different sealer. One that was meant to conceal, not treat bare metal. Because this rust came back with a vengeance after it was repaired the last time. Paint, epoxies, etchers, all these products eventually break down and fail. It's just, that's laws of nature. Everything eventually breaks down to zero. But what we're doing here is we're prolonging that. We're stepping that forward many years instead of just trying to paint over what we've got and pacing the job's pace. You know, there's products that, like 415 for instance, it takes a couple days to set up and dry all the way. It's worth it. It's worth it when the job can be allotted for it. Up here I'm not as worried about it and break through the paint, let alone the etch coat from the factory, because this here, this brown is actually the red broke down. This is your etch coat from the factory. I will be editing a lot of this footage out. A blank screen looking at a door. Not too bad.